Attitude is essentially everything about you. Earl Nightingale used to call attitude the magic word. And it truly is a magic word when you understand what attitude is. Now, you might be similar to me in this regard, where I used to think that attitude was just, if somebody kind of had a positive way of showing up, and, if they had a spring in their step, if they were always, working to get things right, or, I thought that, that person had a good attitude. But you can have the most positive attitude with regards to what I've just spoken about. But if you come in from lack and limitation in terms of your money mindset, you come in from a negative mental attitude, right? Attitude is all encompassing. And to really break it down and explain what attitude is, Emma, as you know, attitude is a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. I'll say that again. Attitude is a composite. So it's all three brought together of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. My mentor, when he spoke about attitude, he said, if you go to someone's house and they serve you a slice of cake with a cup of tea, and that cake is really good, it's fluffy, it's the best cake you've ever tasted, you wouldn't say, that's great spice, or, I love the flour you used in this cake, or no, you say to them, this is great cake. And similarly, attitude shows up on the outside, and people will say, that person has a good attitude, but it's a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And when all three of those are congruent, or what we could also say is in integrity. Now, I'll go a step further to explain attitude. It is your thoughts, feelings, and actions, yes. But you have an attitude, Emma, to this conversation right now. You have an attitude to the way you started your day this morning. You've got an attitude to the next coaching session you're going into. You've got an attitude to your daughter. You've got an attitude to your spouse. You've got an attitude, attitude is all encompassing. It's not as simple as just, showing up in a positive way. We've got an attitude to the way we study, to our learning and development. We've got an attitude to our hygiene. It's all encompassing, if I can put it that way. And it controls every area of your life. And like Earl Nightingale said, it truly is the magic word. It is the magic word.
Yeah, amazing. And that, for me, was just such a revelation, knowing that it was these kind of parts, so what you think, what you feel, and what you do. So I kind of, when I think back to before I met you, so for instance, I'd go to a letting agent and I'm looking, I'm new in property and I'm looking for a rent to rent, and I would walk into the letting agent and I'd look, so my actions would look really positive. Well, one, I'd walked in there and I would always be smiley, but I'd be thinking they're never going to give me anything. They're never going to want to work with me. They think I've got nothing, because I felt I had nothing, financially. I felt I had nothing to offer. And then, of course, I'm feeling like, I'm feeling quite down about it. I'm feeling that they're just all kind of that side of things were negative. And that's what I didn't understand. I thought that because I was there turning up and smiley and shaking hands and being confident, that it would all be okay. And it wasn't until you kind of pointed these things out that I was kind of like, wow. And even now, as you say, this attitude here, I've been looking at you and seeing, wow, the information that Lee's telling me, that's really interesting. And I'm really enjoying it. Whereas before I would have been thinking, I wonder what's that's on the cupboard, and wonder, and I wouldn't be, didn't have control of these thoughts and therefore my feelings. So it is, it's absolutely you know, so huge. So how would, because a lot of this, isn't it, is all about being aware. And I think, you know, a lot of times we're just not aware, are we, at all? How would you kind of allow people to start being that bit more aware of what's going on in, out, around?
So awareness is key, you know, as you know, and you've learned to understand over the past couple of years, Emma. All of the problems in the world have at their source or at their foundation ignorance. And, you know, if you're talking lack of poverty, if you're talking, you know, corrupt governments, issues with businesses not growing, it's all based on ignorance, right? Because the thing is, as we know more and as we grow our awareness, we obviously do better, right? You shared something in terms of going and seeing these property investors and having this internal dialogue within yourself, right, Emma, that wasn't serving the results that you were hoping to achieve. And I just want to pop a slide on a PowerPoint slide here to explain to everyone how this works. And if you tune in via Facebook, you'll see the PowerPoint on your screen. And for everybody tuning in on Clubhouse, I'm going to try and explain this. So on the screen here, we've got an image of the mind, or it's an image that I was introduced to by my mentor, Bob. And this image we call the stick person. The top circle, the big circle, is the mind. So I want you to picture this. If you're on Clubhouse, picture a big circle and a small line and a smaller circle at the bottom with arms and legs coming off at the bottom circle. And the big top circle, that's the mind. The mind has a horizontal line down the middle, and that line divides the conscious, the subconscious, and the small circle with the arms and the legs, that's the body, of course. Now, here's this thinking power that flows into you all the time. And I promise you, it never stops. If you don't believe me, go and sit in a chair, try and calm yourself, and really get into a really good state, and try and clear thoughts from your mind. You'll find ideas just pop in over and over and over, right? That's because this thinking power never stops. And when it flows in, it just is. It's neither negative or positive. You make it what it is by virtue of the thoughts you think. So remember, I said your attitude is your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, but it starts up there with your thoughts. Now, those thoughts you think, like Emma, if you're thinking, who am I to even come and propose to manage these people's property? Or, they're going to figure I don't know so much. Or, that imposter syndrome, right? That always shows up. Right?
Yeah, it does seem to keep cropping up. And for so many, that's the thing. It's not just us, is it? It's so many people. We all have it in one way, shape, or form.
Because when you set a big property goal, when you set something new, a level of income, you're gonna have to grow, and you're gonna have to become a new person, right? So you're gonna have to think in a new way. You're gonna have to act in a new way. You're gonna have to feel in a new way. Now, those thoughts you think on a conscious thinking level, so up there on the top half of the mind, those thoughts are sent out into the universe, and not only is it sent out, but it's also impressed upon your emotional mind. And I'll qualify this. You could be walking down the street in Oxford Street in London, doing some shopping, and you're thinking about your mum over in Liverpool. And the next minute, she phoned you. Now, were you picking up, was she thinking about you and you picked that up? Or were you thinking about her and that's what triggered her to phone you? We've all experienced something like that, right? It's like, and then you pick up the phone and you won't believe I was just thinking about you. Thoughts are omnipresent. They are literally omnipresent. So not only do you send it out, And, that property investor or that property owner that you're approaching, they might not be able to articulate the thoughts that you're sending out in terms of, I'm a newbie at this, or, I don't really know what I'm doing, or, I'm hoping, or I don't think they're going to, get me to manage their property or, to work with me. Those thoughts, the person on the other end of it, they might not be able to articulate what you send in, but I promise you they can feel it and they can pick it up. And this is what I'm going to show you in terms of attitude. Now, the thoughts cause your feelings. There's no getting around that. Our thoughts create our feelings in the emotional mind. Those feelings are also sent out into the universe. But not only that, it's impressed on your physical body down there. And that's what moves your body into action. And the action obviously creates results. So what is attitude? Here we go. Bingo. 1, 2, 3. Your attitude is a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. But it's got to be congruent. So when you walk into that estate agent's office, you want to walk in there with an attitude like they'll be crazy not to work with me. I've got so much value to bring, to the table here. And, I'm going to get them to work with me. You got to walk in with a firm attitude. And I think we all know confidence in how you show up in terms of your energy, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That really sets people apart. You can see somebody that walks in with confidence. It's their attitude. So I just wanted to show this in relation to making the sale or signing that contract, Emma. And that's why I thought I'd just bring this up. So here we go. On a thought level, you're saying to the prospect or the person you're speaking to, the landlord or the property owner, I want to help you. I know I can help you get a great return on your property or on your investment. And, I think this is a good fit. You're saying that on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level, you're thinking or you're feeling, I need to make this sale. Or they're going to figure out, that I don't really know much about the property industry. But what you're doing is you're sending an incongruent message, or you're sending what's called a double binding. Psychologists refer to this as a double binding message. I'm going to help you. I want to help you. But down here, because imposter syndrome has got a firm hold on you, your feeling is, they're going to think, who the hell is this person? They don't know what they... And that double binding message you send in, they can pick it up, I promise you. And that's why on a material level, on a physical level, the sale breaks down. We want to understand attitude. We want to understand how it's literally affecting every area of our lives, Emma, so that we can go in, approach everything with the right attitude. And obviously your results improve.